my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. Coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobody, who died and made you king of anything. You think that I'm insane, it's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it, I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes. Pieces is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back, cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change, slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, 'cause that's what it takes.
All right, y'all. Happy Tuesday, February 10th. Let's see if this thing works. I made some changes. You might notice I'm doing a test run tonight on OBS instead of Streamlabs desktop, because tonight I want to test out a function which I just didn't have on Streamlabs, where I can hopefully, if this works well tonight, pop your chats up on the screen. Let's do a little bit of a test run here. I'm going to click on my text where I said welcome. Oh, look at that. I think it works. Watching up here on the replay screen. Yeah, it looks like it works. All right. And someone last night had said when they were watching on the TV, YouTube was putting the chat overlay on the right-hand side of the screen, and could I move my camera self to a different corner? So we're going to try this out in the top left. If you don't like it, let me know. That's cool. We'll play around with it. There's so many different devices. It's hard for me to know what you guys are seeing out there. I mostly watch YouTube on my desktop computer, not a TV or a phone, so I don't always know what it looks like on different formats. So let me know what you think. Lacked Throne says sound coming out from one speaker. Thank you. Let me check the mic settings real quick, because it's probably need to set it to mono or stereo, one of those. Mic. I remember I had that problem when I very first set up Streamlabs desktop. Mic. How about now? Is that better? Turned it on to mono, so it should push the audio out to the left end. Let me know, chat. Right. Thank you for pointing that out. I have little things, I'm not an audio guy. I'm barely a video guy. So some things you don't think about till when you're trying out a new setup, new software, you don't think about it until somebody mentions it to you. Let me pour my cerveza here, and we're going to talk about the ticker I have on the screen. Since tonight is Tech Tuesday night, and Railtown AI is a tech company, a Canadian sovereign AI play. It is a ticker which I own, and they had some huge news today. And if you would allow me a moment to put it in perspective, first of all, this is a pre-revenue company. So when we look at risk, this is going to be the highest category of risk. High risk, potentially high reward if the company execute. Pre-revenue means they haven't booked any revenue yet. However, we believe, those of us that are talking to the company and also listening to their press releases, we believe that revenue is about to start in collaboration with the TELUS partnership that they have, the AI factory that TELUS built up in Canada. And that within the next quarter or so, we should start seeing revenue from Railtown. That's kind of the preface, right? I just like to talk about risk because we do it on every ticker in some fashion or another, unless it's a blue chip. You know, if you got a established company with massive growing profits and net income every year, growing revenue, you don't have to worry about risk as much. But some of these speculative plays, I do make sure you guys know I'm not telling you to buy the stock. I'm putting this on your radar and suggesting you look into it yourself and then make up your own mind. Railtown announced today that two gentlemen who were the co-founders of Research in Motion, which became BlackBerry, they just invested in this company. Now, I've been investing in it. Most of my investment has been in the past 30 to 45 days since it came back down into this demand zone. When was that? Early December. And so I've been telling you guys, it did run up to 62 cents here a few months ago based on some news, but that news didn't pan out the way that social media thought that it would. The real news was not the AIP partnership deal. It was the TELUS deal and the beginning of revenue. That TELUS deal got announced shortly after, but as we know, the revenue, we're not going to see it for a few months. What was today's news? These two gentlemen, what are their names? Mike, how do I pronounce his last name? Lazaridis. I looked it up earlier and I already forgot. He's got a difficult last name. And his co-founder, Doug Fregin of BlackBerry, there's Mike's name and Doug's name, they jointly invested $3.4 million today or yesterday into Railtown AI, a pre-revenue AI startup, sovereign Canadian AI play. In addition, Mike is joining the board of advisors at Railtown. I would liken this to something like an Eric Sprott making an investment early on into a mine like Hycroft. He's putting his name to something because he believes in it. He's not only putting his name to it, he's putting his money into it. Now, up until now, I've been very cautious about what I say about Railtown because I know that revenue's probably not, we're not going to see anything till this summer when they report numbers. Maybe they give us a heads up before that. But it requires a bit of faith and patience to get there, and there's no guaranteed outcomes, right? There never are until the numbers start printing. But I just want to put you guys in the frame of mind of how I'm thinking about this. We got these two gentlemen, the co-founders of BlackBerry, putting their name and money to this company. They have been doing 6 or 7 months of due diligence research on Railtown before deciding to invest. We don't have access to that level of information as retail traders. These guys do. If they're going to put $3 million in, you know they had access to some inside talks. Show us the strategy. Show us the roadmap. Show us the software. Tell us about the TELUS collaboration. So it gives me a little bit more comfort level in talking with you guys about Railtown because now we have two big names putting big, serious money on the line with this startup AI company. In addition to these two gentlemen making their 3.4 million Canadian investment, think back. TELUS, one of the biggest technology, I guess you could call them a tech company in Canada, did due diligence on Railtown for a long time, 6-9 months or more, and agreed to do a revenue sharing collaboration with Railtown. That is a second vote of confidence from a company, a slow lumbering giant tech behemoth, in Canada, that did their due diligence and said, yeah, we want to partner up with you, Railtown. And the third thing that gives me confidence that we probably haven't talked about enough, it all kind of gelled today, is when AI Partnership agreed to be acquired by Railtown. AI Partnership, having its own very well-known tech and finance world leaders on their management team and board, agreed several months ago to be acquired by Railtown. And that deal is done now too. And those people also did their own due diligence. So we have 1, 2, 3 respectable entities, TELUS, AIP, and the BlackBerry co-founders, that have looked at Railtown and agreed either to invest or partner with them. I don't think this is a spit in the wind type investment where we have no idea what's going to happen. We have a pretty good idea that something good is coming. Now we have to obviously wait and see the execution. So I will take whatever questions you have on Railtown, and of course we can talk about other tickers as well. But I think I don't want to be that guy to set expectations. I have not published any real revenue expectations for Railtown or net income expectations because management hasn't communicated. And if I did mention any number, it was really, really low, right? There's people out there on YouTube saying this company is going to be worth billions. I'm not that guy. I have reasonable expectations. But if my expectations are beat, that is cool. I'd love to have an upside surprise. Based on seeing these two gentlemen invest today, I am feeling today like I might have been a little bit too conservative in my revenue expectations. So internally to myself, I'm bumping up my expectations. It added some more comfort to my analysis that maybe I don't need to be so critical, so risk managed of my expectations. Maybe these guys see something or we're privy to some information that I don't have yet because they just put in $3 million. That's at least $2 million more than I put in. It doesn't matter how much I put in. But if you decide to invest in any ticker, you invest according to your risk tolerance. It doesn't matter what I do on any ticker, which is why I don't talk about position size. Talk about price levels I get in at. I talk about when I buy. I talk about when I sell. I don't have any desire or intention to influence your decisions by trumpeting position size of myself or anybody else. That is what leads people down a bad path. You start thumping your chest. Well, I own 100,000 shares. What do you own? You have it tattooed on your arm? That's some clown stuff that we don't do here on this channel. You make your own choices. You got questions about what I'm doing timing-wise, I'm always happy to talk about that. Is that fair? Is that fair? My general strategy is have a diversified portfolio with blue chip stocks, growing revenues, growing earnings, paying some dividends if possible, and have some fun with smaller positions of speculative tickers where if they 10x or 20x, or, you could dream whatever number you want. That's a fun little extra kicker to your portfolio. I'm not trying to become retired off of a stock that has no revenue. I put in what I'm willing to risk. If it goes to zero, then I need to be okay with that because this is very speculative. So that is how I size my position. not ever going to wipe out my account by investing only in one ticker, and then something goes wrong. With all of that said, let's put up Anya's chat here. Look at that. And take a sip of our cold, tasty beverage. This is Michael Lazaridis. Lazaridis. God damn it. I need to go back and watch my video this morning of how to pronounce his goddamn last name. Sorry, Michael. It is this Railtown Advisory Board is Michael's first such corporate position outside of companies he's founded. That is also important to highlight. He is putting his name to a company he did not found. I'm almost to the point where I'm going to start pounding the table on this stock, but I got to be careful because they don't have revenue. And what if something happens? I don't want to be responsible for leading you into something, but I think you should check into this one. Co-founder Mike Lazaridis is putting some of his money into Vancouver-based Railtown AI and is joining its board of advisors, marking the first time he has taken on such a role outside of companies he founded. He and BlackBerry co-founder Doug Fregin will lead a $3.4 million, I believe that's Canadian, private placement in the company. That private placement is about 11 million units, which consist of each unit 1 share and half of a warrant per unit. So yes, it is a little bit of extra shares outstanding. It's a little bit of dilution, but you know, as we say, when you're dealing with pre-revenue companies, they only can get money from a couple different ways. They either sell shares or they take on debt. And so one of the very first things that I started talking about with you guys in the summer of last year is if you're looking at Railtown, you need to be okay with some dilution as they start up. This is a startup. Now, 7-8 months later, we are on the cusp of actual revenue and net income, if all goes well. And then maybe you don't have to deal with dilution to have adequate liquidity on the balance sheet to run operations. $3 million is a lot to go on this company's balance sheet. $3 million is a lot. I think they had, when they finished their last fiscal year, they had about 700,000. Now they just 4x'd, 5x'd their cash on hand. And from my observation, the management team is pretty good about managing expenses. They're not out there spending like a Roger Hamilton. Sorry. They're not spending like drunken sailors. They are managing the money. And if they weren't, I would say so. I would see that in the financials and I would call it out. We are venture capitalists, Anya. In a way, we are. And Railtown trades, its main exchange is in Canada on the CSE under the ticker symbol RAIL, and that is basically the publicly traded venture capital exchange in Canada. That's where venture capital companies that we might know of them in California, in Silicon Valley, you know, they can go get private money, and we never have a chance to trade them. Canada, they have the CSE for these sort of venture capital startups, and the public can invest in them early. And Railtown did a dual listing. They have an OTC, the U.S. listing of RLAIF. That's the ticker I buy. Same thing, same company. You know, it's just a shared listing. But we are venture capitalists, and you know there is risk that comes with being a venture capitalist. So you've read enough stories. You know, most venture capitalists don't put, if they get $1 billion of fresh investor money to deploy, do they put it all in one company? No, they do not. They diversify their risk. They spread that investment, that capital out across multiple investments. And they know that not all of them are going to hit. Some will go bankrupt. Some will just languish. And some will perform in a stellar fashion. Now, we don't have $1 billion. We've got our account. But I'm going to use that same mentality. I'm not going to put all of my money in one company because I don't know what the outcome is. I have a pretty strong belief that it's going to be okay. But is it going to be better than okay? I can't promise. I think it's going to be better than okay. But I just try and be careful because there's so many critics out there. Try and be careful of what's the phrase? Under promise and over deliver. I mean, I'm not even in charge of delivery here. It's up to Railtown management and TELUS and their collaboration to bring revenue to the table. Railtown's revenue is going to come from compute time in the TELUS AI factory. Portion of that revenue that TELUS is collecting will flow to Railtown. Someone asked, Twitter, what's the story? How do they even make money? It's open source. It's compute time revenue share. And I was very conservative in my initial assessment of what that meant a month ago, 2 months ago, when we found out about TELUS. I am internally in my analysis increasing my expectations of what that revenue share means, because these guys aren't coming on board for nothing. They're not coming on board for a fluke or a lark, in my opinion. So cross fingers and, maybe we'll be popping something better than a 6-pack of the devil's backbone. Maybe pop a bottle of bubbly. We'll see. I know some people have very high expectations. If you followed my channel, we're just looking to book gains. And if I had earnings where I could give you a forecast of what I think the price target might be, I'd be happy to do that. But we just don't know, and I don't like to guess. Other questions? Preguntas. David says, I tried buying this morning over the asking price on Schwab, and it never filled. Yeah, I mean, what were you asking? I mean, what was your bid, David? Like 30, 31? Usually if I do I trade this particular stock in my Fidelity account. And if most of the time I'm doing limit buys under the current price in case I catch a Friday dip. But there have been times where I've gone in and placed an order right above the current ask, and I'll generally get a fill from Fidelity with a little bit of price improvement over what I was willing to pay. The float on this stock is shares outstanding 194 million. We could add 11 million to that now, so 205 million. And that includes the 50 million that were just recently given to AIP to buy them out, to merge two companies together. And AIP is bringing all of its affiliates, 195 companies, to TELUS. You start seeing how all these puzzle pieces are going together. All right. Someone asked, is that no questions about Railtown? No one else has questions? I have 6 or 7 months of videos. Well, you know, you could follow my due diligence process from day one. You could see I was not sold on the company. And as I dug into them, you can see how I started uncovering what I saw was some real potential. And but you know, the price was running up, so we said let's wait for the price to come back down. And here we are. Here we are since December 10th in the demand zone. This was the price run up that we did not want to be buying in. And could it go back up to this point or higher when they start reporting revenue? Almost certainly. It went to 62 cents on no revenue. What do you think it's going to do when they report revenue? When big media outlets like, here we have the Financial Post, when legit news reporters start picking up these articles and the word starts getting out, what do you think is going to happen? Punchy Nut says, I had the same issue buying on Fidelity. Anya says, I hope there's a little pullback tomorrow to add more. Yeah, I have the demand zone, Anya, where I would prefer to buy between 21 cents and 30 cents. And as you guys know, if you've been following my videos, I've been telling you and the Discord, I'm trying to keep my cost basis under 30 cents. I'm willing to be flexible and change that if there is some good news, a surprise announcement from the company that I get even more bullish and the price is moving up. Depending on what that news is, I might buy higher than 30 cents, but trying really hard to keep my cost average under 30. We may not, Anya, you know, I don't want to be that guy, but if it just keeps going up, you know, might not have a chance to buy under 30. Hopefully for some of you guys, if you're real sticklers about the price, there'll be a little bit of fluctuation, and Fridays often is the low trading day of the week for this stock. Almost all my buys have filled on a Friday, my limit buys. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Today was a big news day, big volume, big price movement. The stock went up 14.5%. Will that hold into tomorrow and the rest of this week? Stay tuned. We'll find out. And I'd say just be patient. Don't expect much before this summer, and then you'll be in the right frame of mind. And if there is additional news drops, I was not expecting this news drop today, but I have been saying just be patient. Let manage. They're not sitting on their thumbs doing nothing. Stop the complaining. If you're one of the ones out there on social media complaining, let them do their damn jobs. And here we go. This has been in the works for a long time. Get the news announcement today. There is very feasibly some other announcements. Sit back and chill. If you're stressed, then you overpaid or you overcommitted your position size. So don't do those things. Don't overpay and don't overcommit. Something you're comfortable with. All right. AMC. I don't own any AMC. Be clear, I have not owned any for years now, since 2024. I follow the stock because I follow the entertainment industry. I own other tickers in the industry, profitable companies. I don't own AMC because of liquidity risk, dilution risk, and box office is not quite where we want it to be for them to be profitable. But most of the things we were worried about, you know, the news came out yesterday. That was really the last bit of bad news that we had been predicting for 14 months finally came out yesterday about the dilution. And so I'll kind of give that a few weeks to play out, the liquidity raise to get through Q1. and then I'll see if I take another speculative bet in AMC. But I haven't made up my mind. We will see. And it was interesting to me that today it was only down 1 cent. Why do I cover the stock? Because I like movies, and there's just too many people putting out bad information on stock. They either hate the company, so everything that they say on social media is biased negatively, which is unfair. I had a guy saying today, that companies, if they do a reverse split, that's going to be fraud and everybody should go to jail. Well, reverse split is a legal mechanism in the market, and companies are going to do whatever they need to do to avoid bankruptcy or being delisted. If you don't like those rules, don't fucking invest in non-profitable companies, because what do you think is going to happen? The longer you hold it, if they're not making profits, they're going to dilute, and if the price gets pushed down, they're going to do a reverse split. If you don't like that, don't bitch to me. Go call the NYSE, and they're going to laugh at you, and they say that's not fraud. That is a market function available to all companies. And make sure you're reading the risk factors in the company 10K before you invest, so that you know what could happen. AMC has told everybody, if box office does not improve, we will need to raise additional cash. And so here we are. We've been in that scenario for years. Maybe things get better this year, maybe next year. I don't know. All this talk about fraud and criminality, it's really just lazy investors who aren't reading the risk factors in every 10K. And those risk factors are in the first 3 or 4 pages. They're in the front on purpose for you to read them. Every single thing that AMC has done that people are mad about in the last 5 years, dilution, reverse split, preferred stock, every single thing was pre-disclosed well in advance, as required by law. Not one thing that has happened that wasn't pre-disclosed. So you can get mad about it, I get it, but no one's making you stand in front of that train. That's a you choice. It's a self-inflicted harm. $1.33 today. I'm expecting the price will go a little bit lower over the next few weeks as they get these $150 million worth of shares sold, either through ATM or a forward collar with Goldman Sachs. And, at the point where if it goes down, or if there's news that the cash raise is done, that's kind of like my next decision point, where I'll look at it and say, okay, is this a point where I'm comfortable doing another spec bet into a better Q2 box office, an exciting Q2 box office? The amount of good films we have coming up is pretty impressive, starting in Q2. Maybe there'll be a recovery trade here for some. Maybe there'll be a new entry for me where I can make some gains, but it's not without risk. Moving into GameStop, it was up 18 cents today, 0.73%, closed at $24.82. We are consolidating nicely here in this supply zone. We pushed through it almost every single day, but we can't, the past 2 days, we haven't closed above it. A lot of times, and I've shown you guys this on other ticker charts, if you can push through a supply zone, that becomes your new demand zone. That becomes your new floor for the next leg up. That's why I draw these on here. But it also lets us know if it's rejecting off of here and it starts coming back down, we probably just want to wait. Look, every time it drops through here and rejects back down, these are when I've been buying. I just wait for it to come all the way back down. That's not a guarantee that it's going to come all the way back down, but really depends on company specific news. But that is how you exercise patience if you're trying to accumulate in the least risky way possible on a speculative stock like GameStop. Why do I call it speculative? Look, they got plenty of cash, great balance sheet, plenty of liquidity, plenty solvent, but the brick and mortar business is barely eking out a profit. They're making money from investing their cash in treasuries, which is not super exciting to Wall Street. I know retail thinks that's okay, but not really exciting to Wall Street. They don't care if GameStop's making 3.7% on their money. They can go do that on their own. They don't need to own GameStop to get 3.75%. But I like GameStop. I have a long position in GameStop, a swing trade position, because $9 billion in cash gives them a lot of optionality to do something interesting if you believe that Ryan Cohen has good intentions and is an intelligent man or has good counsel. And that is the side of the field that I'm on. I believe he has good intentions. I believe he is an intelligent person and think that the money will be properly put to use to transform market cap, earnings, etc., etc. Can I guarantee that? Do I tell you you're going to be a millionaire? Do I tell you there's going to be a MOAS? No, no, no. Because we have execution risk here. Ryan's got to find the right investment on his timetable. Might be next week. It might be next year. That's why I am very particular about getting a cheap entry so I can wait with patience and no stress. And this is not my only ticker. It's a small portion of a portfolio. So, no stress. The people who get mad, the people you see all emotional every day, whether it's positive emotion, negative emotion, anger, despair, it's because they overcommitted to something and it's not working out the way that they hoped. And so they become emotional in many different ways. I'd like to teach you how to not be emotional. And that starts with understanding risk, managing your position size, managing your entries, utilizing some patience, having a properly diversified portfolio. Our gold basket, junior miners today down about 0.5%. The silver junior miner basket up 1.4%. Silver SLV trading at 73.41. I got out around 102, 104. I'm watching this chart down here very, very carefully. Trying to decide if it's going to collapse back down into the 50s or if there's going to be a rally back up. I'm not convinced either way just yet. Hycroft, the silver miner, which is going to be reporting their technical report with economics and doing a resource update, updating investors on the amount of measured, indicated, and inferred gold and silver under the ground, plus their plan to begin mining. The technical report with economics. What is the timeline? What's the CapEx required to get back into mining? What's the IRR, the ROI? What is going to be the return that investors can expect? All of that they're telling us is going to be in Q1. So what is that? In the next 7 weeks? Just like we saw the gentleman from BlackBerry investing in Railtown, you've had Eric Sprott pouring money the last few months into Hycroft ahead of that technical report. So I'm hoping it goes well, but people are asking, why is the price of Hycroft coming down? Well, because the price of silver and gold are coming. And Hycroft is still not mining. So the value of Hycroft, the assets under the ground, are not going to be delivered for years. And the value of the stock is mainly derived from what happens with excitement, expectations over metals prices. As long as gold and silver stay high or go higher, Hycroft stock is going to do fine. If silver and gold come down, it's normal to expect that Hycroft is going to. And the last one that we will look at today, Bitcoin, 68,300, we'll call it. I am carefully watching this level just like I am with silver. Probably whatever happens, whether they decide to start running again or collapse, seems like Bitcoin, silver, and gold are all going to do the same thing at the same time, which kind of screws up any plans we have of crypto being our escape from the manipulated markets. Everything seems to just move in tandem these days. All right, with that, seeing as how there are no other questions, I'm going to bid you guys good night. Get some good sleep. Tomorrow's another trading day. Get up early and catch those runners in pre-market. Those of you that are members of the channel, thank you for your support, and I will see you in Discord mañana. If you want a Discord link, check the video description. Anya, the blue lights is for you, because of your request the other day. Now let's test out this exit video here on OBS since we have a new setup tonight. Good night, y'all.
Up and to the right. Up and to the right. Up and to the right.
Hello, millionaires. Short squeeze plays where fortune flip. GameStop's journey, an epic trip. From humble roots to the moon we fly. A company's dream will amplify. Reddit warriors, keyboards in hand. With their eyes on the prize, they took a stand. No one's selling, we're here to fight. How does it go? Up and to the right. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It stops on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, molasses in sight. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It stops on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, molasses in sight. Hedge funds trembling, Kenny's in shock. GameStop stock, you'll never stop. From diamond hands to rocket ships, we're not selling, we buy every dip. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. Up and to the right, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Up and to the right, molasses in sight. Billions in cash on the balance sheet, we will win even if they cheat. Dilute us more, we don't care. Book value grows with every share. The doubters say it can't be done, but the retail army we've already won. With every share we'll never stop. Investors say we love the stock. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It stops on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, up and to the right. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. Together we'll soar, up and to the right.
Surprise!
We're gonna win.